Welcome back, everybody, to Raid Shadow Legends. They put out 2 new videos about the Doom Tower. It has everybody extremely excited. Go over to their website and watch them if you want to. Yesterday's video was about core mechanics. We watched this on stream. Everybody was very excited. It's going to be out in 48 hours from now. My Monday night, the Doom Tower will be live. So 48 hours or less, I would hope. We'll hope it goes smooth. Then they came out with a video today about the bosses. I want to watch over that with you so we can talk about the bosses. The video from yesterday just talked about the floors, the keys we need. You can complete it within like 24 days. You'll get extra keys to run through there. We are limited on the amount of keys you get per day, and they don't stack up. So you're going to kind of have to log in and try to progress as far as you can. But once you have a room open, you can fight that room every day, all day long until you beat it. But look at this. We have 3 Crutrexes and 2 Venuses. So if you have Elagaius, like the video I did a couple weeks ago, talking about Elagaius is going to be just amazing for the Doom Tower to get you through the floors. This is why. So he's going to put all the Crutrexes skills on cooldown, or all the Venuses. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. If you can get him with really high accuracy, lots of speed, relentless set if you can, come in here and just drop everybody. And his A1 will lock out as well to make it so they'll only do their A1 attack. So we can come in here and effectively lock out a whole group. And you're going to see a lot of this in the Doom Tower. This is like all other games that we played with the Doom Tower. Same stuff. They usually do a 3-2 combo until you get to the last wave, and then it might be more specific to like a bigger kind of boss or whatnot. Maybe not. Maybe it'll always be like this, but that's why that guy, anybody who's free to play, low spender, or has a low roster size, and you did do the fusion for him, or you're just lucky enough to have him, level him up, get him ready. He is going to help you get through these and then get us to the boss. Bosses are going to be a whole different story. We're going to look at the bosses right now. We're all going to get stuck eventually on the bosses, but we really shouldn't get stuck on these waves unless we, maybe we'll move around gear, and especially if we have that one champion, we'll be able to do it. I think we'll be able to set their skills all back. If you have Warlord, that might be nicer too, to have Warlord come in here. But we'll be able to set all their skills back with Elagaius, and we'll be able to come through here and get it done. Let's look at this video on all the bosses and talk about, let's see how hard
Hey Summoners, we recently released a video covering everything you need to know about the soon-to-be released Doom Tower and how it works, which you might want to go check out if you haven't seen it yet. In this video, we're going to be talking about the bosses themselves. You'll be meeting one every 10 floors, and they're not exactly pushovers, so you'll need to get to know them. I know many of you have been waiting for this, so let's just get into it.
I think they're only going to show us 5 bosses, so there must be, you're gonna encounter a boss 2 times going up through it, so it might be on an easier floor. And the bosses are going to rotate each month. They've already said that they're going to be at different floors at different stages, which would mean it's going to be a little harder or easier depending on where we face them. But at least we'll get a chance to learn the mechanics and try it out. Okay, let's see how hard it's going to be.
First up, the Nether Spider. Her name's Agrith, but she doesn't really get around to introducing herself. She's got irresistible, unblockable, AoE poison debuffs, and she's...
Okay, attacks all enemies, places a 5% poison debuff on all enemies for 4 turns. He said AoE unblockable, and I wonder if we can't block it, like even with the block debuffs, we'll repeat the attack 1 time for each spiderling without an active buff. The poison debuff cannot be resisted or blocked, so we can't block it. Wow.
Spawns 4 spiderlings that have pretty much permanent counterattack.
But we can take it off though. So when it does apply on, we can remove it all from us. We can take it off. It doesn't say we can't take it off, so we'll just have to be ready to remove all debuffs whenever it gets applied to us.
Not that you'd want to remove it anyway, unless your team can somehow handle 5 AoE attacks from the Mama Spider, along with all the poisons that come with them. You don't have a lot of time either. Agrith inflicts damage from all poison debuffs on your team at the start of her turn, but you can just stop removing them, right? Wrong. Decreasing Agrith's turn meter is a bad idea. She counterattacks whoever does it and deals damage equal to the amount of turn meter she lost. If that doesn't sound painful enough, it also ignores defense. Yikes. All in all, she's pretty tough. Some of this stuff is unavoidable, so make sure your team has some means of handling the overwhelming amount of poison and is tough enough to tank out some hits. The rest, well...
So some shields, we need some shields, and we need a way to remove poison. And it looked like, I mean, this is of course a demo, but it looked like when Coldheart hit a full turn meter reduction, she didn't die. Now, of course, it will matter depending on when we fight this boss, whether it's stage 10 or whether it's stage 110, it's going to make a big difference. But turn meter reduction, I'm not going to throw it out the window. I'll still bring in somebody to do turn meter reduction and then have shields on them, even if the boss hits you back. I mean, if we can actually keep the turn meter down and this boss never take turns, even though that person gets, I mean, they've got a Raglan right here on their team, so the Raglan could revive her and immediately take a turn, give her a full turn meter on a 2-turn cooldown. So even if she were to keep dying whenever she did her Heartseeker, it would be okay. And then I'm going to try it with Blind Seer, right? Blind Seer is A1. We'll keep trying to drop turn meter down, and we'll have buffs up. It should be okay. I think turn meter reduction is still going to be a big play on this spider.
Poison, and is tough enough to tank out some hits. The rest, well, that's up to you. We don't want to give away everything. And over in the damp and grimy corner, it's Borgoth, the Scarab King. Fighting him is a bit of a balancing act. Take a look at his skills. First, if you don't have...
Okay, attacks all enemies. He decreases attack, decrease speed for us. Place an extra hit on enemies that have no shield buffs. The extra hit places a provoke debuff for 1 turn. So you want shields. They said you want shields on this guy.
Have a shield buff, you're in trouble. You could end up being permanently provoked and getting counterattacked all day, so you'll want a shield buff up at all times. But on the flip side, the more buffs you have, the more he attacks you. And he can also steal your buffs, so you always risk giving him something you really don't want him to have. On top of all that, he's got an insane damage reduction passive that means if you want to get past his tough exterior, you pretty much need a champion with skills that can decrease the Scarab King's max HP. Or at least artifact sets that do the same. Okay, next in the line.
So we remove his max HP down. It looked like when his max HP went down lower that the shield wasn't as high and it would eventually go away. And they even said here the numbers. So we can look at, once his max HP is down by 30%, he will have a 0 shield come up on him. Okay. I don't think that's that bad. 30% down. We just got to keep hitting with that max HP. He steals though. He steals buffs, which is pretty dirty. Not just removing, but stealing right here. Each hit steals 1 random buff from the enemy that have no shields. So we want shields, so he can't steal from us, and removes 1 random buff from enemies under shield buffs. So if we just have that shield buff and nothing else, then he's going to have a chance to randomly remove it. But it says remove, right? Removes. Okay, remove is fine. Stealing is going to be a problem if he starts stealing from you guys. We're going to have a shield buff, and then he will place the fear and true fear on us for that one. These are fun, man. This is going to be exciting. This is the first major content we've had for this game, really, besides Faction Wars. This is it.
You don't want him to have. On top of all that, he's got an insane damage reduction passive that means if you want to get past at least artifact sets that do the same. Okay, next in the lineup, Koldath the Magma Dragon. As you'd expect, he's all about setting things on fire. There's a real synergy to how he fights. Let's check out his skills. First, since he's made of magma, you're not going to be able to damage him with an HP burn. In fact, it'll heal him with his passive, giving him a continuous heal buff. He's also got 2 AoE skills that link up well together.
All right, what does he do? He does an AoE, attacks with HP debuff for 3 turns, and steals 10% of the turn meter from each enemy under an HP debuff. Also places the Hex for 4 turns on an enemy with the lowest HP. These debuffs cannot be resisted or blocked. Again, they can't be blocked, so we're just going to have to be ready to remove them. It's kind of crazy we can't block this stuff.
One throws up HP burn on your whole team, while the other skill instantly activates damage from HP burn debuffs on your team.
And this one right here was kind of crazy, right? Instantly places a Hex debuff for 4 turns on the enemy whenever they remove a Hex debuff from themselves or an ally. So whoever actually removes the Hex gets the Hex. And I guess we can't, like, somebody's going to always have it on. It's pretty wild because it ignores block damage, shields, unkillable buffs, and will ignore 100% defense when attacks an enemy under Hex. Instantly removes any HP burn debuff and gives him the heal. Okay, so we don't want to HP him.
The pain builds up quickly and is a big source of consistent damage you'll have to deal with. The real danger you have here is the Hex debuff. First, he puts Hex on your lowest HP champion. Then his first skill specifically targets champions with Hex debuffs. It hits like a truck. It ignores defense, and it also ignores pretty much all defensive buffs, like unkillable, block damage, or shields. If you're not careful, he's going to take out your whole team, one by one, starting with your squishy damage dealers. It's no...
Okay, now don't forget, you have Rhodos. So if you have Rhodos, and Rhodos is we make him the squishiest on purpose, and Rhodos gets that Hex debuff, was it a multi-hit? Because if it's not a multi-hit, then we got it right there. We just bring in Rhodos, we get that Hex on him, we leave it on him, and we let him get that hit. We just kind of give him some heals and let him take that hit every time on the A1.
A secret that Revivers will be your friend against the Magma Dragon, but you're going to have to figure out the rest on your own. Finally, we've got the Frost Spider, Sorath. We know you like cold things and things with more than 7.5 legs, so naturally, we combined the two. You're welcome. Now, let's see what she can do.
Places a block, buff, debuff, and 100% heal reduction for 2 turns on enemies under freeze debuff. 30% decrease speed and decrease attack for enemies not under freeze. So we don't want to be under freeze. And I think when you attack her, you have a 20% chance to be frozen anyways. But I think we can block that part.
As you might have guessed, attacking a huge beast made of ice has a chance of freezing the attacker. And if you do get frozen, you're in for a slew of other nasty effects you don't want to deal with. But in general,
Let's read it. Remove all buffs from the enemy, then attacks them. Remove all buffs. Wow. Then has a 100% chance to place a freeze debuff for 1 turn if they're under an HP burn. If we get an HP burn up on the spider, plus we have to kill it, to actually do the killing blow, it has to have an HP burn or it will come back to life. So it places then it's just a 50% chance for it to freeze. Wow. Okay. I guess we can try to block it. It's going to remove everything though. And high resistance, right? High resistance, and we'll be able to resist this stuff, I hope. Turn meter by 20% for each freeze debuff placed.
Effects you don't want to deal with. But in general, the Frost Spider has one glaring weakness: fire. Get an HP burn up on the spider, and it halves her chances of freezing someone. And you'll want to keep the heat up too. Not only does she get tougher when she's not under a HP burn debuff, but she'll also revive herself if you kill her when she doesn't have one. She also has 2 minions that fight for her. They're not a huge threat on their own, but they do provide some serious support for Sorath herself. You'll want to get them out of the picture fast, especially if you don't have anyone that can cast a leech debuff. And that's all of them. This was just a quick overview. There's still a lot left for you to discover when the update hits in just a few days. We hope you like this video, but most of all, we hope you'll enjoy the Doom Tower when you get to play it for yourselves. As always, hit like and subscribe to keep track of our newest videos. And
what is that, all Dracos? What floor was that? It's like a 5 Draco floor. I wonder if there's any Drakes in there. See? Elegaius right here. Boom. Everybody's on max cooldown. Easy times going through there. Look, I am very excited. Again, this is huge content for all of us. Something fun to do. We get a lot. Look at all these rewards we get. Let's go back to that one. I want to see these rewards. Look, we get first time clearing. We're going to get a chicken. We're going to get coin. We're going to get energy. And then all sorts of materials going through here. It's going to be great. Every month, first time clearing it, I'm sure we're going to get all these rewards. And then we get keys to go back and fight the bosses to get more materials to make special artifact sets at the Forge. And this is big. This is big for us at Raid Shadow Legends. We haven't had anything to do for a while here. This is the most exciting thing we've had, and it's fun. And we've really been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to a tower in this game for a very long time, and I hope normal is moderately hard, and then I hope hard is extremely hard, but I want people to be able to get through normal and get a good feel for these bosses, be able to play these bosses and the floors and the secret rooms, you know, work with their roster. You might have to expand your roster a little bit and bring some select champions and then shift some gear around. You might have to do that. That's what it's all about, but the rewards make it worth it. And it's something fun to really look forward to do videos on. If you can't beat a boss, to look at ways to do that. I want to be able to beat all these bosses and blow through it. Then I want to be able to go back to those bosses and try it with rares and epics and see if we can beat it. You know, bring in, once we know the encounter really well, try to bring in the rares and the epics that will do exactly what we need. Turn meter reduction with Cold Heart, or if we need a burn from somebody on a rare and epic, whatever it takes. If there's shields out there we need, then we'll bring somebody that is that rarity that can bring us the shields we need. But I am super excited. Let me know your thoughts down below about these bosses. If you know a sneaky way to beat them already, if you've already, you know, doing some brainstorming and you know exactly what you're going to bring in your lineup to beat these bosses, let us know. I appreciate you all for watching. Thanks so much for your time. I will see you all in a video soon.